All right, let's just get right into it. In today's sales world, that generic one-size-fits-all training, it's just not going to cut it anymore. It's basically a recipe for mediocrity. So the big question is, how do you build a high-performing sales team that actually consistently wins? Well, we're about to break down the 5 absolute must-haves for any sales training program that wants to succeed today. I want you to really think about this question for a second. Is your team stuck in this trap? Because if you're still leaning on old school methods, you're not just risking kind of average performance, you're actively leaving money on the table. And, the numbers, they back this up in a pretty shocking way. So, for starters, a massive 70% of salespeople don't have any kind of formal training. Just let that sink in. The very engine of most businesses is running without a proper manual or a tune-up for the vast majority of the people operating it. It's kind of wild when you think about it. And here's the kicker. Here's the impact on the other side of that conversation. A whopping 82% of B2B buyers say the sales reps they talk to are unprepared. This is a huge, huge disconnect, and it's exactly where deals start to fall apart. Your customers can feel it, They know when your team isn't ready for them. But, and this is a big but, here's the flip side. This is the opportunity. Teams that actually have structured, consistent coaching see 28% higher win rates. So the point here isn't just about avoiding the bad stuff, it's about unlocking a really significant positive. There's a clear path to getting much better results. So let's put a name to this problem. We're calling it the generic training trap. You know what I'm talking about. It's that spray and pray model where you get everyone in the same room, throw the same information at them, and just hope something sticks. But as we're seeing, hope is not a strategy, and this old approach is failing. Hard. Do any of these sound a little too familiar? Your reps are just zoning out, staring at endless, forgettable slide decks. The training itself feels like a chore they have to get through, not an opportunity to get better. And maybe the most shocking symptom of all, the retention of that information just plummets to 16% after only 90 days. All that time, all that effort, for pretty much nothing. Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about the solution. The very first pillar of a modern, effective training program is making the content both engaging and accessible. We've got to make learning actually stick. And that means we have to fight against our natural human tendency to just forget things. What I love about this is how simple and true it is. Presentation really matters. If the training looks boring, if it feels dated, you've lost half the battle before you've even said a word. Those first impressions count for a lot, even in learning. And this, right here, brilliantly illustrates the science behind why those old one-off seminars just don't work. The forgetting curve basically shows that our memory of new information fades incredibly fast. A single lecture is like pouring water into a leaky bucket. The only way to beat that curve is with continuous, spaced-out reinforcement. This slide really just lays it all out, doesn't it? The difference is night and day. We have to move from those fixed in-person lectures to on-demand content that people can get to whenever they need it. I mean, in a world with remote and hybrid teams, training has to be available whenever and wherever your salespeople happen to be. Okay, so we've made our content engaging. We've made it accessible. The second essential piece of this puzzle is making it customized and focused on the right skills. Because if it's not relevant, it's just noise. I mean, this is the bottom line, right? If a sales rep sits through a training and they can't immediately see how it's going to help them close their next deal or handle their next tough call, then you've wasted their time and you've wasted your money. The content has to connect directly to their day-to-day reality. So what skills are becoming the most relevant? Well, a Deloitte study is predicting that by 2030, 2/3 of all jobs will be soft skill intensive. Sure, product knowledge is important, but how you communicate that knowledge, that's becoming the real game changer. So we're talking about those core human skills that technology just can't replicate. Things like clear communication that builds real rapport, creative problem solving to get past objections, and that strong emotional judgment to read the room. These are the skills that build trust, and ultimately, they're what win the business. A modern training program has to be focused right here. This slide is great because it really brings all those pieces together. You can see how an engaging, accessible platform delivers customized content that hones in on those crucial soft skills. But there's one more piece, the final piece, that turns all this theory into real action. And that brings us to our third pillar, which,
honestly, is the final crucial piece of the whole puzzle. Role-playing. This is what closes that gap between knowing what to do and actually being able to do it when you're under pressure. This is where learning finally becomes a real skill.
I love this quote. It just perfectly captures the essence of sales, doesn't it? You can read every sales book ever written, but until you actually practice the conversations and apply the techniques, it's all just theory in your head. Role play, that's the doing. So, why is role play completely non-negotiable? Well, for one, it gives your team a safe space to fail and to learn without any real-world consequences. It builds the confidence and the muscle memory your reps need for those tough client conversations. And it lets managers pinpoint the exact areas where someone needs a little more coaching. And here's how you do it right. You start by designing realistic scenarios that your reps are actually facing out in the field. You use different formats to keep it fresh. You set up clear feedback loops. And this is critical. You can leverage amazing technology like video review and AI simulations to scale this practice across your entire team. So as we start to wrap this up, I really want to reframe how we think about this entire topic. This isn't just about training. This is about making a high-return investment in your single most valuable asset, your people. This slide really shows that critical mindset shift we need to make. For way too long, companies have looked at training as a cost, something to be minimized. The top-performing companies, they see it for what it truly is, a revenue driver. It's an investment that pays for itself over and over again through higher win rates and a more competitive team. And you know what? The results really do speak for themselves. The right program doesn't just teach a few skills, it builds a genuine competitive advantage. It motivates your team, it empowers them, it leads to stronger client relationships, and it creates sustainable long-term growth for the whole business. And this, right here, is the key takeaway. In a market that is constantly changing and evolving, the only way to keep up is to continuously build the capabilities of your team. Effective training is how you future-proof your sales organization. It's as simple as that. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Take a really hard, honest look at what you're doing right now. Is your training program truly an engine for growth, propelling you forward? Or is it an anchor,